Hi YouTube! My name is Rachel. I'm a full-time stained glass artist, and today I'm going to go over all of the tips, techniques, and tools that you're going to need to actually cut glass for stained glass. Just as a disclaimer, I am entirely self-taught, so these are all techniques that I've picked up over the last year of just kind of trial and error, as well as talking to other stained glass artists. So what I say is not gospel, and at the end of the day, you need to do what is most comfortable for you and works best for you. There are some things that are going to be the best way to do something, and other things, they're, for you and your hands and your wrists and everything, it might just not work for you. This is what works for me, so that's why I'm going to share it with you. Alrighty, so the first thing that we're going to cover is how you actually hold your cutting tool. Now this is going to vary depending on if you have a pencil grip, custom grip, or a pistol grip. Now I have a pencil, so you'll see me holding it like this, like a normal pencil in between my first three fingers, or you'll see me making like a fist and pushing it with my thumb of the other hand. My wrist gets very tired and I have wrist problems, so usually once my hand starts to hurt, that's when I go to this way of holding. I've never seen a video on it. This is just kind of how I have figured out, how to do it and how is comfortable for me. Also important with cutting glass is you want to make sure that you are cutting on the least textured side. So you can see this is the extremely textured side, this is the smooth side. All of your cutting is going to be on the smooth side. Smooth. When I start cutting, my tool is a lot lower of an angle than it normally is, so I use that just so I can visualize the little roller ball, and then I put it at about a 70-degree angle. And this is pretty consistent. You're going to get your best score line and your best pressure from this angle. Now, as I've said, this might vary depending on what kind of scoring tool you actually have. Now, it is ideal to have a standing desk for stained glass, although I did it for almost a year without one, so don't worry about it if you don't. But what you really want to do is you're going to keep your arm tucked into your body like this, and you're going to use your body to do the work for you. This is going to prevent you from straining your wrists or, putting too much pressure on your joints, and really just overall make it easier for you. So you're going to guide with your body. Now that we have the score line in the glass, we're going to break it. So what we're going to do is line up our breaking pliers with our score line, and we're actually going to pull out. You're going to apply a little bit of upwards pressure with your pliers, but the main movement that you should be doing is pulling your hands apart. This is going to create a cleaner break than if you're just relying on the upwards pressure alone. You should also have the index finger of your opposite hand, so the hand not holding the pliers, lined up with the score line. I also want to add that for smaller pieces, it's kind of hard to do the pull apart method, so don't worry if you have to do the upwards force method. Now that we've covered the basics of breaking glass, I want to go over some special techniques that we can use for breaking longer pieces. Now, for breaking longer pieces, a lot of people prefer running pliers. I will cover that in the next clip. I don't like running pliers personally, so I use my grozing pliers. Now, it's important when you're using grozing pliers for long pieces that you put the pressure on the end of the glass. Do not break in the very middle of the glass, otherwise it could break in half. Next up, we have our running pliers. Now, mine are missing the little silicone protector bits that normally go at the end, so I just use a washcloth if I do use my running pliers. So here you're just gonna see me kind of fumble with trying to, protect the glass. But what you're gonna do, so we're breaking on that little score line that I've made already, you're lining up this line on your running pliers with the score line, and you're going to apply an even pressure, and it will break. Now once I get my washcloth all settled, it will break perfectly down the line, as long as you're lined up with that mark on your running plier. The next method that I'm going to use, I don't really know what to call it, but it's the one that I think I use most commonly for kind of bigger pieces of glass, where all you're going to do is apply pressure to the back side of the glass. So I made my score line, we flip the glass over. If it's transparent glass, you can see through it, and you just kind of firmly apply pressure on the score line until it breaks. Really, you're just weakening that score line, and then it kind of just, it does the work for you, and it'll just pop right off. Our last method is one of the most fun and like the most violent looking. So I have this old scoring tool that's made of brass. It's very heavy. And so what I'm gonna do is use the end to actually hit the back of the glass. Here I noticed that I had cut my finger, so I went and cleaned that up. But you're going to turn your glass over, and you're going to apply a downward pressure while pushing the end of the glass into the table. So that score line is going to be in the middle. You're going to push down with your hand. I actually changed my hand position to get a better leverage. And you're going to tap the score line with whatever tool you're using. Now, I find that this is generally most used in pieces of glass that are hard to break. I don't really have to do this with transparent glass. All of these methods I use pretty regularly, and they do just take practice, especially like it feels weird hitting the back of the glass with like a heavy tool. It just feels really strange. So I would just recommend practicing, and the more you practice, the better you're going to get. All right, so I think that just about covers everything that you're going to need to know to get started with cutting your glass. I always say this, but if there's anything that I didn't explain clearly enough, please feel free to leave a comment below with any questions you have, and I'll try to answer it as soon as I can. If I get the same question enough, I might also make a video to better clarify. I don't bite. Please just feel free to ask away, and I will try to be as helpful as I can. If you liked this video and thought it was helpful, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!